She's taking all the credit now.
Oh, you helped at Tsleil-Waututh, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Thank you all for taking your time out of the schedules of your lives to be here tonight to share with us a bit of a meal and some words and some thoughts and helping with our stance in opposition to this pipeline project. On behalf of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, I'd like to welcome you to our unceded Salish territories that we share with Muslim and Squamish. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and we look forward to a great weekend. Amen.
Thank you, Charlene. So, housekeeping, we're going to start with the elders eating our soup, and I want to thank Friendship Catering for the Friendship Center here for preparing some traditional fish soup for us tonight, and some fried bread. And as Charlene said, this is our first event. We have 5 events this weekend, and lots of people are excited about the Traffic Red tonight at the Condor. I'm most excited about being out in the water tomorrow. I mean, facing down the oil tanker that we stationed in Morgan Dock. So that's my highlight. I don't know about yours, but I think tonight we'll have a chance to talk about why we're here, and really grateful to the people we've invited. We've got a really interesting group of speakers representing environmental, Indigenous solidarity, community organizations that are going to talk about how they practice solidarity and how they're interested in fighting with the Tsleil-Waututh Nation to stop the Kinder Morgan pipeline expansion. So we're going to talk about that after dinner. Charlene just reminded me that there's a beautiful mural that Melanie Shanbach has created. We can stand up.
I didn't say it.
Oh, okay, sorry, you facilitated it.
You're all free.
Thank you. Thank you, Melanie, for that work and bringing it here. And so that's no invitation. Carlene, who you're just about to hear from, she had Melanie out last week at the Tsleil-Waututh Community Center, and so some kids joined and decorated their ideas around it. And Daphne's also here with the quilt work, another artist. And feel free throughout the night to talk to Daphne. She's doing a quilting petition around these issues, so we'll talk to her about her work as well. We'll hear from her as well. So here's Carmen Thomas.
So we're just going to have a small lesson before we eat.
To monitor that is in the crazy decisions that they make about the salmon farms that are killing more fish than what it's producing. Those are crazy decisions. But some of the leadership that are up here, my cousins, my brothers, and my sisters, they make decisions that are based on our culture and our spirituality. It just doesn't make sense that if we're going to have a fish farm and it's killing more fish, that's something that we would do. If we look at the fundamentals of our spiritual and our cultural belief and what they are, that's what we like to apply to in the ventures that we take and go forward with as a nation. If we look at love and honor and respect and dignity and pride and compassion and understanding and truth and wisdom, and we come from and we make decisions from there, we're going to make better decisions. When our community did a referendum, it was 100% consensus that we would not negotiate potentially millions of dollars that would help some of our community members out of poverty, that would supplement our education programs, that would supplement our housing and give more of our people homes. But what our community decided is that you can't put a price on the secret. You just cannot. So we have representatives from Melina, our sister, our friend, who we adopted into our community. She came and she spoke on the devastation that's happened at the Alberta tar sands. One of the biggest industrial projects in the world that's killing people. Our elders stood up, and after that presentation, they said, if there are relations over there that are relations of ours that are dying because of this, that's reason enough for us to say no. That's reason enough. One of our elders picked up a baby, and I said, this is my great-grandchild. And this is another reason why we will say no. So, with economic development, like I was saying, decisions were made to enhance our salmon programs. And unlike the government, we're not going to mark every salmon. And when it goes out to the Pacific and tell people they can't fish it, we can't do that. But the monitoring systems try to do that. They try to put blame instead of trying to take care of the problem. They do studies on how this is harming instead of trying to take care of the problem. So I'm really proud of our leadership that stand here, that's moving forward and making decisions better for our future generations. Because here in the Tsleil-Waututh, our lineage directly comes from the water. That's who we are, Tsleil-Waututh people. That's people of the inland. Our lineage comes from the water right behind me. I love my kids. I love my nephews and nieces. I love them and I would do anything for them. They're sacred to us. Really sacred to us. And what our elders have taught us is that our land and our water is sacred. That we would do anything we can to stick up for our children. Stick up for the people that we love. But when we were children and the tide went up, we'd go out on the water and we'd pick up crab, clam, oysters. It was abundant. In my short lifetime, 30 years ago when I was a little kid, there was so much salmon in every creek and every river and every stream. So much salmon and trout. We'd walk out there and we could pick up one with our hand. And now it's not like that. To stand in solidarity with 160 nations that have also said no. Actually, it's 170. Yeah, thank you. And it's crazy when we're talking about this, when we know there are alternatives. If every house and every building in the city of Los Angeles had solar panels on it, that's enough energy there to service the rest of the United States. We have the technology just 2 blocks from here. There's the Tesla car dealership. 100% electric car. We have the technology. When I was in Panama, we were presented with this company that was creating solar panel windows. When we were in LA, this company presented this 1-foot squared engine, a hydrogen engine that can service a 5-bedroom house. And what our government is doing is they're stepping in, they're giving $1.6 billion in subsidies to fossil fuel companies. They're protecting their interests. We see leaked documents from the National Energy Board that prove that they're allies. They're allies with these oil companies. We see all this. So what I believe is Harper and his crazy government are protecting his interests. Oliver, Minister of Environment said, why don't the First Nations take the money? They need it. Maybe we do. But the First Nations are consistently saying that doesn't fit with the governance of who we are. That's based on our culture and our spirituality. And that's why we say no. And what we need here, and what I believe and what I hope for, what I really hope for, is that the people that are listening will make a conscious decision for their future generations. I had a great opportunity to present to Kinder Morgan, with Kinder Morgan and their lawyers. My first open remark, I looked right at him and I told him, I said, hey, you know what, if you win, you and me and everybody, we all lose. I said, if I win, you and me and everybody, we win. And my last remark was, I said, I talked to my children about changing careers. And I said, what do you think of that, of doing the work that I do and doing environmental work? And they said, we could do this together. I said, do it, Dad. That's what my children said. Do it together. And I thought about that, and I told that story to Kinder Morgan representatives. And I said, my kids know that I did something for their future generations. And I said, what can you say to your children about what you did for their future generations? I said, you can't answer right now because you're stuck in your mind of greed. I said, but because you're part of the human race, me and my kids will do it for you. Because you're incapable, because you greed or thirst for power, we will do it for you because you're part of the human race. We'll step forward and we'll do that for you. And those are the things that I shared with him. And he put his head down, rightfully so. Because what I believe in the work that we do and And what I hope from each and every one of you is that you can talk to the people as well, that your words will fall down into their hearts, and you will make a difference in the people that you talk to. Because what I believe in is people from Vancouver, what they say is the most beautiful city in the world, or British Columbians or Canadians. What I really truly believe that they know the true facts. Maybe some people will make a drastic decision and change their career like I did. Or they'll just stand up and come to something like this and stand in solidarity with us, shoulder to shoulder, and say no more destruction to our lands, no more destruction to our waters, no more destruction to our children and to the people that we love. That we will stand together and we'll say, we will protect the sacred. Thank you so much for coming.
And the Save the Fraser Declaration. So, and that was to oppose the Enbridge Northern Gateway pipeline, as you can see that yellow dot across the map. This map is something that our GIS department has created for us. The yellow line is the Kinder Morgan Trans Mountain pipeline that comes from Edmonton, Alberta, all the way to Burnaby, the West Branch terminus. All the purple in there that you see are the Indian reserves in British Columbia. So part of my job this past year was to travel that pipeline and reach out to as many First Nations as we could, and I think it was a really successful trip. We visited at least 90% of them, and they're all obviously opposed to it, but some of these little reserves, the pipeline goes right smack through the middle of the reserve, so they're going to have a different conversation with them. And as our leadership have shared with us, and it's our own opinion as well, is you can't judge those First Nations. If they have to talk to Kinder Morgan, they have to talk to Kinder Morgan.
As you can see, in 2006, when Harper got in, he started to sense something was going to happen, and people weren't going to stand up for it. And not long after, as you see what happened with Idle No More. Idle No More came about, but as you can see, he's been monitoring us using taxpayers' money to protect his interest, to make sure this crazy decisions that it's making will continue to follow through.
Okay, so again, we're talking about the Save the Fraser Declaration. Yinka Dene and Chief Ron was opposed to the Enbridge.
They brought their treaties, so all of them came together and were able to sign each other's treaties and to stand in solidarity and block all directions of the Alberta tar sands out of Alberta. So right here is a part of it, and this is what Carlene and I and Erwin are going to start working on with our leadership. Is that representatives from Tsleil-Waututh, and also representatives from Lummi, signing with our chief and standing in solidarity to oppose the tanker traffic going through our traditional territories. What we're going to work on and what we just got okay for is to create a treaty, a Sailor Sea treaty, to stand up and to oppose this continuing craziness.
So Tsleil-Waututh knows that we're not alone. We've reached out to several organizations, including the First Nations Summit, which is the group of First Nations in British Columbia that are in the treaty process. And they signed a resolution saying that they would support Tsleil-Waututh in stopping the increased tanker traffic.
It's, of course, not just First Nations that stand with this relative. Many of our local municipal leaders have also stood up and said no to the pipeline and committed to work with local First Nations. So the cities of Vancouver and Burnaby, Portland has recently joined apparently, Victoria, have all stood up and said that they will stand with their First Nations neighbors and work together. So this kind of unprecedented unity of folks coming together and working together in this project is an unintended blessing.
included First Nations, the Squamish Nation, the Musqueam Nation, and us, the Tsleil-Waututh. And so we're looking forward to working together to stop this increase in the tanker traffic and the pipelines.
So we can't talk about